Hello everybody on the internet, my name is Max Levinson. Today we are going to be doing a long-awaited review of my Omega Seamaster Professional. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this watch. As you can probably tell, it is in its original box from when it was purchased back in the day, so I'm going to throw that aside. This is the original warranty card and the paperwork. Kind of interesting. I'm not going to show everything, obviously, because it could have some information on it that should not go on the internet. So that's that. That's what comes with the watch. And then the box. You get this beautiful leather case that it comes in, stamped with Omega. And it says, Swiss made since 1848, which is, you know, a long time. So let's go ahead and open this box. Inside we have the watch, we have the Omega logo, and the Omega name sort of embossed into the padding material on the top of the box. And then as we reach in, we can pull out the watch. It's on this cushion, on its beautiful tank tread bracelet, you could call it. It's a dual button clasp, just like the Speedmaster I reviewed. I do like this bracelet a lot better though. We'll get into that in a minute. And there's the watch. You can see it has a beautiful blue dial, blue bezel, and it also has the wave dial, which is not made anymore. And it's one of my favorite aspects of this watch. It's a 120 click bezel for diving. Everyone asks me what it's actually for. I'm going to let it kind of focus a little bit. In turn, I'll just do a full rotation of the bezel. And it's very hard to grasp in gloves. And it lines up perfectly, unlike my turtle, which is over to the left. But you may also notice, and I get a lot of questions, especially like in school, what is this? This, in the James Bond movie, was either used as a grappling hook or to detonate landmines or whatever, but in real life it is a helium escape valve, which is really cool. So you unscrew it, and it only unscrews a little bit. But when you're decompressing from a dive in the decompression chamber, you unscrew this and it lets the helium out of the watch, so it doesn't pop the crystal off. Because unlike water, helium can seep into the watch through the seals, and as you're decompressing, it'll try to escape, and that doesn't work. You know, if it's all sealed up, so you need something to let the helium out, which on, like, let's say the Rolex Sea Dweller or the Submariner, in fact, doesn't come with a helium escape valve. It is just the Sea Dweller, which it costs a lot more. So I think it's kind of cool that they included it on this watch. So it's a screw down crown. The first position, as normal, is winding. It's very nice, very smooth winding action. And the first pull out is the date. And then second is to set the time, and of course, it does hack the second hand. It stops the balance wheel. So you screw it back in. And let's take a look at the back of the watch. So on the back of the watch, we have the Omega Seamaster, the hippocampus. It's a mythical beast known as the hippocampus, and it's a beautiful engraving. Like the engraving is just so high quality, and it hasn't faded at all since, you know, this is a vintage watch after all, and it's just in such good condition, the Caseback engraving. But when you, it's actually the only thing that I really don't like about this watch, other than the bezel being kind of hard to turn, is it's very weird to get the case back off. Normally, you just have little ridges around the case back, but on this, you kind of need this weird looking sort of die to get the case back off, that has, you know, the adequate number of pins that go into the case back and help unscrew it, keep kicking the tripod. But this, yeah, but I really, nonetheless, I really do like it, and I think that the engraving is very high quality. But this Caseback situation does make it a whole lot easier to scratch it, which is, kind of a drawback, but whatever. One thing I do love about the watch, though, well, there are a couple things. One is this diver's extension, which isn't very, it doesn't really help, like, if you just need to adjust the watch, kind of like for like a small, just in case your wrist swells, like in the heat, because it extends it a lot more. But if you're going diving and you need to put it over a wetsuit, then this is, perfect. It's kind of interesting, though, because this is very sharp. Like, it could easily cut you if you're opening it and you don't realize. So be careful if you have an Omega Seamaster. It could cut you. So, yeah, but that's the helium escape valve. That's the diver's extension. And on the clasp itself, you do have the Omega logo and the Seamaster Professional engraved, which is like really high quality, and it feels like it's just a single like block of steel. It's very hefty, very solid. You can tell, but when you open it, you have the kind of interesting looking clasp when you open it. But when you close it, you have your little engraving on the inside. I don't know if you can really see it. Let's go ahead and see if I can grasp it correctly. You can see it has the Omega logo and just has some specifications, like Swiss made and all that. But, again, Omega Seamaster Professional. And that's really the watch. It actually, let's go over on the dial, it says, it's a chronometer, of course, and it goes down to 500 meters, 1,000 feet, which is, about the same, I believe, as a Submariner. And it's very nice. I really think, not that I'm going to go down that far, but I do like that it has that ability, and it makes it especially easy since you have that helium escape valve, which is very useful to divers. But that's the watch, so I'm going to set it aside for just a second, and we can go over some of the things that come in the box. So in the box, we have the little hang tag that has the Omega logo and some of the specifications on it. Don't want to show everything, but we have like just some of the logos that say like what it has, what the watch has. That's the caliber 1120. It's an ETA 2892, I believe, but it's modified. It has an extra jewel, and it says automatic. It's chronometer tested, helium escape valve. You have all those. But so that's what comes on that. And then inside here, I just have some extra links for the bracelet. So that's that. That's the box. Once again, here is the leather, the top of the box. Very, very nice. So push that back in, and then this closes, and then you put the lid back on. So that was the watch and the watch box. Thank you for watching. That should be enough. Just a quick overview of the watch, showing. And by the way, this is the pre-ceramic Seamaster. You could, like the newer ones have a sort of darker blue, and this one's kind of patinaed, but you can tell it is a little beat up as far as the bezel. You can see some scratches. It's aluminum, while the new ones are ceramic, as I said. But it's still really, really nice, and I really like the color. I really like the color of the bezel. It stands out a lot. And I usually wear it on a blue silicone strap because the bracelet is extremely heavy. So once again, there's the clasp, there's the bracelet, there's the watch. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you can, hit subscribe and like the video. Thanks again. Bye.